Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. The NFL Show is brought to you by BetNow.eu to get a first deposit cashback bonus. Use the promo code TRUTH100 when you go to BetNow.eu. I am your co-host for the NFL Show, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I'd like to welcome in my other co-host, Anthony Cervino from the FF Face-Off. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing awesome, Mike. How are you?
All right, and last night I watched the Browns Steelers for a while, but as my son said, my God, these teams are bad. It's almost like watching a Bengals inter-squad scrimmage. So we turned it off, and then, nothing would be as bad as watching a Bengals inter-squad scrimmage, but it was as close as you could get. And then this morning I wake up, and it seems all hell broke loose at the end of the game. And if you are on thegruelingtruth.com, you know that our resident Cleveland Browns writer, Shelley Harcar. Did I do that right, Shelley?
You said it fine, Mike.
All right. Wrote a little article about it. Shelley, how you doing?
I'm good. Apparently, I am also a lot of other things that I can't probably say on the air, but I've been called online.
You can say whatever the hell you want. All right. So this was just handed down by the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns organizations have each been fined $250,000, and three players, Cleveland's Myles, Garrett, Larry Ogunjobi, and Pittsburgh's Marquise Pouncey have been suspended without pay for their actions in Thursday night's game. Garrett has been suspended without pay indefinitely at a minimum for the remainder of the regular season and playoffs and must meet with the commissioner's office prior to a decision on his reinstatement. He was also fined an additional amount. Garrett violated unnecessary roughness and unsportsmanlike conduct rules as well as fighting, removing the helmet of an opponent and using the helmet as a weapon. Pouncey has been suspended without pay for 3 games and fined an additional amount for fighting, including punching and kicking an opponent. Ogunjobi has been suspended without pay for 1 game and fined an additional amount for unnecessary roughness, specifically for shoving an opposing player to the ground during an altercation. Additional discipline for other players will be forthcoming through the standard accountability process, including those players that left the bench to enter the fight area. So, we'll start off with Anthony. Do you think this is fair?
I mean, from what I've seen, I think so. I mean, look at the other 2 altercations that Myles Garrett has been in this season. Once you get away with it twice, and now this one was brutal.
Shelley?
I mean, there are other 49ers fullback Kyle Juszczyk is saying he should never play another down in the league this year. And
this
that's
year
a fullback,
or ever? You there, Anthony?
What, is that a question?
Yeah. Did he say this year or ever?
I thought he said this season, but it could have been ever.
Well, he's right on this season because he won't be playing. Shelley, what's your take on the fines and suspensions?
You know, I'm all down with the fact that what Myles did was flat out wrong. There's no excuse for, using a weapon against a defenseless player who's obviously too damn stupid to know you shouldn't run at a man who's just ripped your helmet off your head. But I was looking at the rules in the rule book, and Article 17 on the player conduct actually goes over using a helmet as a weapon. And apparently the league knew that somebody might want to do that at some point. And what they actually say is that the illegal use of a helmet in play is a 15-yard penalty and a disqualification. There's no talk of, drawing and quartering the guy or, pistols at dawn. I think everybody needs to just, take 2 steps back, calm the hell down. Yes, it was wrong. Yes, it was bad. Yes, I'm embarrassed as a Browns fan. But, oh, my God, let's all breathe.
All right, now,
the narrative of this.
That rule, though, Shelley, is for during a play. That was after a play.
Right, but they've still kind of taken a minute to highlight what could happen. I guess what I'm looking at the rule and I'm saying, all right, so this isn't such a strange thing. Everybody's acting like,
No, it's
Myles
during a
Garrett
play,
broke
though,
down
is
an
what the rule
orphanage.
is. If you yank a player's helmet off and throw it at him during the play, that's a 15-yard penalty. I don't
All
think
right.
there's a rule for actually physically assaulting a player by hitting him in the face or the head with a helmet 30 seconds after the play's over.
Right. No, there probably isn't. But I still think I'm calling this a giant hysterical overreaction. I don't like Max Kellerman, but even he is on
Yeah,
my
he's a
team
complete
with this.
idiot. And on this, he made a complete ass out of himself this morning.
Yeah, he was a little over the top. But if you look at the whole tape, when DeCastro had a hold of Garrett had Rudolph's helmet. DeCastro's holding Garrett. He's pulling him back. That's when Rudolph needed to, shut it down, step back. He charged Myles Garrett without a helmet. That's just damn stupid. I'm not saying I will never say it was right for Garrett to hit him in the head with the helmet. No, that's not up for debate. I'm just thinking that Myles is getting way more of the shit on this than possibly necessary. Nothing happens in a vacuum, I guess is my point. And yes, he was wrong, and I do think he should sit the rest of the season, as much as it pains me to say that, but this indefinitely stuff and people yakking about assault and
well, it is assault if you look at the definition of assault.
Right, but it's also in the field of play. I mean, if he's at the mall and he hits somebody in the head with a football helmet, then yeah, haul his ass to jail. That's crazy. But the things that happen on that field are outside the norm of what you and I are allowed to get away with in real life.
Anthony?
So.
Yeah. What's the question here? Is it assault or is it not assault?
To address what she just said.
Yes, Garrett should be sitting. In the NFL in particular, I feel like the reactionist is always penalized far more so than the antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah, but right now the antagonist, the guy who started this was Myles Garrett with what should have been a 15-yard penalty late hit. The thing that I don't hear anybody bring up in this is this. If Myles Garrett is your best player and there's 15 seconds left in the game and you're up 21-7, why in the hell is he even in the game?
Thank you. That's
bottom line. It starts with Freddie Kitchens. Just like
who's
it all
a joke.
Starts with Freddie Kitchens.
I think Freddie Kitchens should be suspended for a game to give the Browns a good reason to fire him, because they've already got a good reason because he can't coach football.
And has
no control over that team.
Yeah, and you look at this, and I've got a guy, Ken Sterling, that I do an IU basketball show with, and he was at the Browns-Colts scrimmage right before the preseason started, and he said that there was probably 30 flags called. There was Browns players trying to start fights. So I think the problem here with the Cleveland Browns, Shelley, is as an organization they were flawed. You can buy all the great players in the world, but if you have a guy that lets everybody do what they want. I mean, the thing is this. Bill Belichick's team, you're not going to see this happen because guys know that it's not going to be allowed. With Freddie Kitchens, guys know that Freddie's okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, you just look at the list of players that we bought who are phenomenal and look at what we've done with them. Very little to nothing. So yeah, you're absolutely right, and it does all come down from above. He should be setting the tone for the team. We shouldn't have to be talking about this, I guess, is my whole thought. Like, we beat the Steelers for the first time since 2014. Myles Garrett should not be today's top story all over the sports world, and yet here we are.
But that is...
I mean, what was it a couple of weeks ago with the Browns player on social media?
Jermaine Whitehead?
Somebody...
Yeah, Jermaine Whitehead.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
There's a problem with the culture.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna stick my head in the sand and say, oh, they're good. No, there's definitely a problem. Jermaine Whitehead, being who he is, and took to Twitter and threatening people, and that's ridiculous. And they did cut him.
Yeah, but the question is this, Shelley: if Odell Beckham or a player they really needed, that was a star, would have said it, would they have cut him?
And see, that's where the real problem is, because I can't answer that. I really don't know. I should be able to say without a doubt that the same rules apply for everybody, but I really can't say that with this. Although Whitehead was at the top of his game for, his caliber of play, even though he really sucked there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that you could say that if Odell was dumb enough to take to Twitter.
What the hell impact has Odell even made?
None,
and that's the problem. Because right now we should be lining up Landry and Beckham and send Higgins off by himself, and that's just perfect because you can't ignore Landry and Beckham. And you got Higgins on the other side who's, wide open in a sweater waiting on a pass. That's what they should be doing. I don't understand how Odell is or isn't being used, but it's infuriating to watch it.
Well, they're running a college offense. I mean, basically, Freddie Kitchens is like Zach Taylor and Sean McVay and all these other coaches, Andy Reid even, who like to run out, play PlayStation football. And the fact is, I mean, you guys are still a game behind the Pittsburgh Steelers, who lost all their superstars and are playing with Mason Rudolph, who's absolutely atrocious, and they still have a better record.
Yeah. Now, I'm not one to buy the hype. Like, I knew the hype before the season. Oh, this is fun, and we're selling merch, and we're selling tickets, and woohoo. And that was fun. I never believed we were going to be, this unstoppable force. But I think all that hype has I think it really messed with the heads of the guys in the locker room, definitely with Freddie. They think, oh, we're as good as they're saying. You never believe your own press. And it's just such a cluster of garbage in so many ways, and it's painful to watch.
Yeah. So, do they still have a chance to make the playoffs?
I mean, anything can happen in any given day. I think maybe I'm not taking that to the bank. Statistically, they're not eliminated. Let's go with that. But I think the team in general is in trouble from a personality standpoint, a discipline standpoint, a leadership standpoint. And even if they do make the playoffs, it's like, what we're riding in on two wheels in a broken down bus.
Yeah, it's going to be like last year where everybody got a false sense of security because they beat a bunch of bad teams at the end of the season. If they go on a run here and go to 9-7 or 10-6 and make the playoffs, it's off beating a bunch of bad teams and giving everybody you're better off right now, I think, if this completely blows up and they go out and they get a football coach.
I had tried to be Team Freddie. I like to support the guy, whatever. I tried to support Hugh Jackson for a hot minute, too. But, yeah, these guys are grown men, and they need someone who's going to know how to keep a lid on that, all those egos, all that adrenaline, somebody who has the balls to stop it before stuff like this starts. I agree with the coach thing, which I never thought I'd be saying, but yeah.
Yeah, but it goes back to the same thing, Anthony. They're hiring a guy who was not qualified to do this job. Did we lose Anthony?
I don't know.
Anthony!
I talked him to death.
Anthony! Yeah. But my point in with Kitchens, if you look at his resume, never been a head coach, was never an offensive coordinator till last year. He was a tight ends coach with the Cardinals for 5 years, a quarterback's coach, a running back's coach. And then all of a sudden he becomes the associate head coach and running back's coach. Then when Hugh gets – so he was for like a half a year. He was To me, Greg Williams wouldn't have put up with this crap.
Holy hell, no way.
You there, Anthony?
No, none of this.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Okay. Anthony must be home now from his drive to the store. Correct, Anthony?
Am I what? Am I home?
Oh, nothing. I just don't hear the car anymore. All right. Is there anything else we want to say about this game? Because overall, it was not a pretty game. Anthony?
No, but, this is the second straight win for the Browns.
Yeah.
Yes. And that should have been part of the narrative. And beating the Steelers should have been. I still think that the media, especially the bottom feeders who are looking for all their clickbait, are going to be saying this, that, and now they're trying to twist Baker into some sort of villain for saying it was inexcusable. And I wish we could say we've heard the last of this, but this is just going to be floating around haunting for a long, long time.
Well, it should be. And this follows Myles Garrett through his entire career, no matter what.
It does. I don't know. I guess I'm just old, and I've seen a lot of shit in the NFL. And so, yeah, it was wrong. Yeah, it was awful. And now let's go play Sunday's football game. I don't know.
Okay, what if he hits Mason Rudolph as hard as he can in the head and kills him? Would you still think that maybe just for the year?
I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to speculate. I don't know because, he's the field of play. I still say it's a different place. You hit Mason Rudolph in the head, that's wrong. You kill him, obviously not good. But I don't know. I just think that in order to understand that culture, I would have to be a part of it, which obviously I'm not. But I don't know. Conjecture isn't really going to get anybody anywhere because, what if Mason Rudolph grew wings and flew off the field? That didn't happen either.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. Right now, my problem as a Cleveland Browns fan is coming on here saying something about somebody sprouting wings and flying off the field. I don't think that it's too hard to imagine somebody getting hit in the head with a helmet, Anthony, and dying.
No, and to your point where what happens on the field of play is different, there's nowhere in the rule books to be hitting somebody with a helmet or any other type of weapon.
No, it's just during a play. And if we remember, this has happened before. It's not the first time. Lyle Alzado did it to Chris Ward in the New York Jets in the 1982 playoffs. And it was a different time, but he also he didn't hit him. And that's the thing. We talked about what happens if he dies. What happens if he swings and misses? This wouldn't be as big a deal.
Exactly. There's a lot of what ifs.
I think in the rule book it should be if you grab somebody's helmet and take it off their head and swing at them, you should never play again. That's what gets away from the fact that maybe somebody gets hit in the head and dies. Because you could say that it's different on a football field, but I think also with decent people who run that football field, you'll do some things that you wouldn't do in normal life. But there is a code of ethics because you know how this all could end. It can end with somebody with ALS, CTE, and nobody wants that. And you have to have enough respect for the people around you. And if you have somebody that doesn't respect the people around him, even if they're on the other team, enough to not try to kill them or maim them with a helmet, there's a problem here. And I think that the people that are sitting here blaming Mason Rudolph, they were at the bottom of a pile. He got hit late. I think the official who did not throw the flag for the late hit should be fined and suspended also. Because people say Mason Rudolph started this. But I'm pretty sure, Anthony, if a flag would have flown there, Mason Rudolph probably is not trying to yank his helmet off. He saw that nothing happened. He got assaulted with the late hit, and then he was pissed off.
Yeah, I can agree with that to an extent.
But all right, anything else, or do we want to go look a little NFL injury news, and then we'll talk about the games for this week?
I've got nothing.
All right. That's what Browns fans usually have, just like Bengals fans. Go ahead, Anthony.
Stafford's unlikely to play against Dallas.
I know. That's what I was going to bring up with the injury news. And if he doesn't play against Dallas, that means your Cowboys will get the win.
Well, we hope.
Well, I don't hope because I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I
wouldn't put it past it's the Cowboys now.
Yeah. Ex-Browns wide receiver Antonio Callaway lost the suspicion appeal. The other big injury here, Anthony, is the Eagles running back Jordan Howard is not cleared for contact yet, so it doesn't look like he's going to be playing against the Patriots.
No, and now Darren Sproles is he's on IR with the quad injury. They're actually going to bring in Jay Ajayi, and Ajayi's probably going to see some playing time this week.
And the Cleveland Browns, looks like they've lost Morgan Burnett. With
a
torn Achilles. Serves them right for being assholes.
Yeah.
Philip Rivers says the Chargers aren't in desperation mode at 4-6. I wonder what desperation mode in LA is.
If you're in LA playing football, you're already in desperation mode.
No, you're not. What's the temperature where you're at right now, Shelley? Because it's 45 where I'm at. So I would be good with going there and getting my ass kicked every week.
I guess for the right amount of money, maybe. But I don't know. It just seems like LA doesn't have real fans. But, hey, that's just me.
Well, and the Cleveland Browns do?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
They've got people. Yeah.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I mean, we're hearing all the shit from the bandwagon.
Wait a second. Last year was the first time you'd sold out a game in November or December in how long?
Right.
Okay.
I didn't say we had a stadium full of real fans. I said we had real fans. It's different.
I don't know. I've been to Cleveland before, and outside of Pittsburgh fans, there's not too many fans worse, I don't think.
I'm not going to say
go
we're
in
pretty.
the 80s and get hit by dog bones, and then, you'll see what I'm talking about.
I guess I don't mind our culture because it's been Cleveland against the world for as long as I've
No, it hasn't. You guys act like it is. The thing is this, it only became Cleveland against the world when Freddie Kitchens and Baker Mayfield started the season off, and this team played like a bunch of assholes. Because I can tell you this, last year, the entire country, am I wrong here, Anthony? The entire country was happy when the Browns went on that winning streak at the end of the season.
Yes.
Nobody hates the Cleveland Browns.
And a lot of people were picking the Browns to be a contender this offseason. Not me, but...
No, not us.
No, that was the hype that was moving the shirts and selling the tickets.
Yeah, but the thing is this, that was the country as a whole were thinking that. Because everybody wanted the Browns to succeed because the Browns, I hate to tell you this, there's nobody that's ever hated the Browns since Paul Brown left. Because I can tell you as a Bengals fan, I lost hatred for the Browns in the late 80s because, come on, even though we suck, we usually beat you guys, except for last year and this year because we're atrocious.
Yeah.
I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't hate the Ravens because the majority of time over the last decade we've beaten the Ravens. I hate the Steelers because we can't beat them. Nobody hates the Browns. The Steelers didn't even hate the Browns until last night. The Steelers hate the Ravens and the Bengals because the Ravens and the Bengals over the last 10 years have been a threat.
Well, maybe it's just how we look at it from our perspective and our viewpoint. But, I don't know. I guess I don't buy into the whole everybody, all these people saying good things about the Browns. It's like, where were you when we were 0-16?
What is there good to say about a team that's 0-16? They felt sorry for. I mean, I would think, Anthony, if you asked me how the nation felt about the Cleveland Browns until this season, I would say they felt sorry for them.
Yeah, they were, basement dwellers, and they do get the sympathy of people.
Yeah, I even cheered for the Browns over the last few years. Why wouldn't you? I mean, they were actually the only organization worse than mine. And from watching last night, even though you all got 4 wins and we got none, it's probably a tie. All right. Let's go ahead and look at this week's games because there's 2 organizations that I'm about to bring up that may be just as bad, if not worse, than the Bengals and the Browns, and they play this week. It's the New York Jets at the Washington Redskins. And since Shelley is new, we're going to give her the game of the week to pick first, Shelley.
I get to pick this one, huh? I'm looking at my injury report real quick. Not that really matters.
Hey, no cheating. Me and Anthony don't prepare for things.
Well, yeah, this is my first rodeo here with this whole podcast thing. So, yeah, I've got notes. You know, just because the Redskins, I remember them from the good old days fondly and nostalgically with John Riggins and the Hogs and all that jazz. So I'm going to go with them because this looks like a real shitstorm of a game. So yeah, no real reason. Just,
all right. Anthony, I'm sorry about all the cursing today too that Shelley's brought to the show. But who do you want to pick, Washington or the Jets?
I'm going to go with the Jets. I just think they have more talent than the Redskins right now. And, you know, I'll put Darnold over at Dwayne Haskins, as hard as that is.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jets, and I don't think it's hard to put almost any NFL quarterback over Dwayne Haskins. Next up, the New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll start this one off. I'm going to take the Saints since we're going straight up. Wouldn't surprise me if the Bucs give them a game, though, Anthony.
You know, the Saints, are already coming off of a bad loss last week to the Falcons, and I think they're going to bounce back here.
All right, Shelley, do you concur with us, or are you going with Tampa Bay?
Absolutely. I mean, not only are the Saints up and coming, and that was an embarrassing mess for them at home, but Jameis Winston, you know, he's not exactly lighting up the world.
He isn't?
And,
I think he's played really well this year. He's had 2 bad games.
I don't know. Of course, he's somebody else on a list of people I don't like. But
he's
anyway,
had a better
yeah,
year than Baker Mayfield, though.
No doubt. But yeah,
I had to. I'm sorry.
That's
all right.
Okay.
Next up, we got a matchup between the Denver Broncos and the Minnesota Vikings. If this was in 1998, Anthony, this would be a great Super Bowl. What do you think, Shelley?
Yeah, if it were 1998, yeah, it would be a great Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure the Vikings are gonna stomp them a little bit. The Broncos, yeah, they'll show up.
Anthony?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Vikings here. Not that Brandon Allen played a terrible game getting his first NFL win a few weeks ago, but the Vikings are red hot. Kirk Cousins is playing the best football of his career, and Dalvin Cook, he's one of the most unstoppable backs in the NFL right now, and the Vikings should handle this.
All right, next up, the Buffalo Bills are in what I think is a must-win situation for them at Miami, Anthony.
Yeah, it is a must-win game because the Bills have shown flaws, especially in their defense. Now, their secondary is still the only secondary that hasn't given up a 100-yard receiver, but they are getting gashed on the ground. The Dolphins have been playing better, but this is a game that the Bills need, and I think they'll win the game.
All right, Shelley.
Yeah, I agree. It is a must-win, and yeah, I don't see the Dolphins being good enough to overcome the secondary of the Bills. I don't know. I agree. Definitely the Bills.
All right. I'm going to take the Dolphins. I think Fitzpatrick's better than Allen. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick plays well. I think the Buffalo Bills have a hard time scoring. I think the Miami Dolphins play extremely hard. I think it's a stupid pick on my part, but I'm going to go with Miami just on a gut. Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars will travel to Indianapolis. I know Jacoby Brissett is playing, Anthony, but I know you like the Jaguars and still think they're going to win the division.
Brissett is playing, right?
Yeah, as far as I know.
But then so is Nick Foles on the other side, playing his first game since week 1. I think whoever loses this game, their season's probably over. So with their backs against the wall with Nick Foles, I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
All right, Shelley.
I think Jacksonville, just for those same reasons. Everything's hinging on this for these guys. They're going to bring it.
Okay. I'm going to go with Indianapolis as the home team. Foles hasn't played in, 7, 8, 9 months. if Jacoby Brissett's playing, the Colts are at home. The Colts offensive line, I think, controlled us a little bit. I think it's a close game. I think it's a toss-up, but I'm going to go with Indy just because it's really boring if we all just pick the same thing all the time. Next up, the lowly Dallas Cowboys, who've proven that they're probably not going to make the playoffs this year, will travel to Detroit to play the Lions with no Matt Stafford. I'm going to take the lowly Lions just because there's no Matt Stafford, Shelley. How about you?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't even have to ask Anthony because he's like the biggest homer in the world.
How can you pick against Dallas this week?
Nobody did. I picked Dallas.
Oh, I thought you guys picked Detroit. Okay, so I can't argue.
If Matt Stafford was playing, I'd pick Detroit because they're a better team.
Yeah, that'd be a different story.
Yeah.
Because Dallas will only make the playoffs because Philadelphia is more injured than they are. Next up, the Atlanta Falcons at 2-7 will travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers, Anthony. I think this could be a closer game than what people think.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a relatively close game, but this is a game that Kyle Allen should get back on track because Kyle Allen, he's lost a couple of games, but I think he's trying to overcompensate for a defense that's getting gashed on the ground. On the other side, you have a Falcons team that are already down their top two running backs with Devonta Freeman out with a foot and Ito Smith's on IR. They're down to Brian Hill. So if you can't run the ball against Carolina, I think they can pin their ears back and put some pressure on Matt Ryan and probably win this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Plus,
Carolina
Christian
wins
McCaffrey.
the game. Yeah, McCaffrey's going to go off big this week. I think over 200 total yards. Shelley?
Yeah, no, I see the Panthers winning it. The Falcons had a fun fluke, and good for them, but they don't have enough to beat the Panthers, I don't think.
All right, Shelley. The Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens in what I think is the most interesting game of the week.
This is going to be interesting. I hate the Ravens just because, well, it's on principle.
Because they beat the hell out of you all the time, Shelley. Just admit it.
Well, no, because they hijacked our team. But anyway.
No, Art Modell. Art Modell was going bankrupt and sold you out. Baltimore didn't hijack it. Because remember this, Baltimore got hijacked by Indianapolis.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah, they were the Baltimore Colts once upon a time.
Yeah, so Art Modell's the problem there.
Well, yeah, definitely. The Texans, I'm going to go with them just a matter of principle. I like whoever's playing the Ravens unless it's the Steelers.
All right. So you hate both the teams to beat you all the time. Actually, you probably hate every team since you're a Browns fan, right?
Let's see. I don't hate the Saints, and I don't have anything against the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, pretty much everybody else, yeah.
Yeah. Just NFC teams you can deal with. All right, Anthony, what do you think?
This is a game that has a ton of playoff implications. When you're talking about, if the Ravens win, I think they can start locking up one of the top seeds in the AFC. And if they lose, that puts the Texans in the conversation with the Patriots and the Ravens. And you also can't count out that if the Texans lose, the winner of this Jacksonville game and now the Tennessee Titans, they're all in the conversation for that division. So I'm going to go with the Ravens here, but this game has a ton of playoff implications in it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with the team with the best quarterback. So I'm going with Houston. Deshaun Watson wins this game. Because I think right now everybody's talking about Lamar Jackson as being number 2 in the MVP race. And Lamar Jackson, I think, should probably be top 4 in this race. But to me, Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson are untouched right now because they're doing more with less than about anybody in the NFL. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals will travel to San Francisco to take on a wounded 49ers team who just lost a game that, puts a little more heat on them coming into this, Shelley. Do they recover and get the win here, or are we seeing a little bit of a slide?
I don't think the 49ers are going to slide too far. I mean, yeah, they were having fun being undefeated, but I don't see them being toppled at home by a 3-6-1 Cardinals team.
Well, I think this. I think it could be a closer game than we think, but I'm going to take the Niners also, Anthony.
I'm going to go with the 49ers here, and I want to call this a must-win game because they're coming off of a loss. They barely beat the Cardinals a couple of weeks ago, and now the Cardinals a little bit healthier, and the Cardinals won the past 8 games leading up to that matchup. So if the 49ers lose this game, then they get the Green Bay Packers next week. So, yeah, I think they have to win this game, and I think they will.
All right.
Because if they lose, they can possibly go from undefeated to a 3-loss team in a matter of 3 weeks.
Yeah. And next up, we talk about the New England Patriots against the Philadelphia Eagles. The game is in Philadelphia. This game, to me, if Jordan Howard was healthy, I think I'd have picked Philadelphia, but he's not. So I'm taking New England, Anthony.
I'm going to go New England regardless of Jordan Howard's playing status.
Well, yeah, because you're a Cowboys fan and you always pick against the Eagles.
I don't always pick against the Philadelphia
Usually.
But no, this is a game. New England should win this game. I think they're a team that needs to win with the way that the Baltimore Ravens are playing and coming off that loss. Because all of a sudden, if you lose another game, Baltimore owns the tiebreaker for the number 1 seed.
Yeah. If they lose this game and Baltimore wins, they are the number 1 seed at that point.
Yeah.
Shelley.
Yeah, I got to go with the Patriots. There's no way around that one.
Yeah, there is. You could pick Philadelphia.
I could, but why?
Why not?
Sorry,
I thought you would just do it on principle. I figured you didn't like them either, and you picked against Baltimore.
Well, I don't like the Patriots. I can't stand them, but I can also,
Okay,
sometimes
we're going to go through this. How can
you
you hate the Patriots if you hate the Steelers? Who do you hate more, the Patriots or the Steelers?
God, that's a tough one.
Is it really?
Probably. It really is, because I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, which was halfway between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, so big time hate fest all the time down there for the teams. I think I'm going to say I still hate the Steelers more, but I think the Patriots give me more reason to hate them.
Really?
Just because.
Even though that they don't play near as dirty as the Steelers do all the time?
Yeah. I hate the. Yeah, I gotta say I hate the Steelers more, but God, I think I mostly just dislike Tom Brady. Dude has sold his soul to the devil or something to keep this career going. I don't know.
Or he just did everything the right way when everybody else does things the wrong way. So you really prefer guys that don't take care of themselves?
No, I just don't. I just prefer guys who aren't Tom Brady.
Okay, so Anthony, do you prefer guys that aren't Tom Brady, or do you prefer Tom Brady?
I prefer Tom Brady.
I prefer Tom Brady, too. All right, next up, greatest organization in the history of Western civilization. The Cincinnati Bengals will travel to Oakland to play the Raiders to try to keep hope alive for an 0-16 seed or 0-16 season so we can get Joe Burrow. So I'm going to say Raiders win because Opie Taylor is the worst coach in the world. Anthony, what do you think?
I'm also going to go with the Oakland Raiders here. They're a team that is very much in the playoff race. Only, one win behind the Chiefs, where the Chiefs and the Raiders both have 4 losses. This is a must-win game for Oakland, and I think they believe, just like I believe, they can win that division.
Yeah, everybody believes it now because, hell, they're right there. Shelley, what do you think?
Yeah, going with the Raiders because, the Bengals have copied so many other things of the Browns that 0-16 is probably right there.
What have the Bengals copied from the Browns?
Let's see. You took the coach. You took the colors.
Wait a second. Whoa. Now, come on. You're old enough to know that's not true. They fired the coach.
Right.
They copied their winning tradition.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is the thing. Paul Brown left. Y'all won it all in 1964 with Blanton Collier. You ain't ever been back since. The Cincinnati Bengals. I've at least seen my team in the Super Bowl twice. You've never seen your team in the Super Bowl. Ever.
Okay.
And you never, ever will. Just like I'll never, ever see mine win one.
I've seen my team in the Super Bowl a couple times.
You know what, Anthony? You're a Dallas Cowboys fan. You don't live in Texas. Be quiet, okay? I think
Yeah,
Anthony had a good
definitely the
reason
Raiders,
why he
though.
was a Cowboys fan, though, which is why I don't really give him much crap about it. I don't remember what the reason is, but if it would have not been a good reason, I'd give him crap about it all the time. All right.
I
Shelley
think
says
it was
we'll
a good
probably
reason.
never have you on again.
Uh,
Right now, who would be your pick to come out of the AFC to go to the Super Bowl?
Regretfully, I would say the Ravens. Just being real, I'm not messing with who I like and who I hate. But yeah, I would say the Ravens.
All right, Anthony, what would you say?
AFC Super Bowl, Baltimore.
Yeah, I think New England. I still think when it comes down to it, we watched them lose one game. How many times have we watched them get the hell beat out of them in the last 5 years? Everybody says this is it, and the next thing you know, it's 2 months later, and they're in the Super Bowl smacking somebody. But I'll tell you this: I think the team that's the biggest threat to them is the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
And I will say that just because of this. I really think that if Houston beats Baltimore in Baltimore, Houston's my favorite out of the AFC right now. If they don't, though, I just like Deshaun Watson. And I think Deshaun Watson is a guy that's not going to go away easy. It's just according if the defense could hold up without J.J. Watt. But really, I hate the Ravens, and they're probably the biggest threat. So I'll tell the truth.
It's all good.
And now I'm going to ask you in the NFC, but I'm not going to ask Anthony because Anthony's going to pick Dallas. So who do you got in the NFC, Shelley?
Oh, God. See, now my gut says pick the Saints because I like the Saints. I think if the 49ers can avoid a slide or anything stupid, I would pick them, though.
All right, Anthony, I'm going to let you do it, Anthony. Just don't blurt out the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I can't realistically blurt out the Cowboys because of the way, after losing that game against Minnesota. And I can't comfortably pick them, even if they beat the Lions this week. If they beat New England in 2 weeks, I'm right back on. But right now, I'm going to say the Green Bay Packers. I'll take the best quarterback in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers.
He's not nearly the best quarterback in the NFL. No way. Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the NFL.
Talented quarterback.
Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the NFL. He just is.
Aaron Rodgers is the most talented.
No,
can't
Russell
take that
Wilson
away.
That's a good commercial.
Russell Wilson is smarter. He's faster. He's tougher. And he
but
doesn't
Aaron
turn
Rodgers
the ball
is better.
over. No, he's not. He's what?
He's a good-looking guy, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh God. Now I thought we had a
well,
no
yeah,
homo.
I mean, kinda.
This was no homo this week, I thought, Anthony. And now you've turned it that way with the Tom Brady and now Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is really kind of ugly, I think. He's got a mustache.
He's not bad.
He's got a mustache. He looks like a 70s porn
And he
star.
pulls it off.
Huh?
He pulls it off.
He doesn't pull it off. I think Russell Wilson's better looking.
Yeah, neither one of them have Cam Newton's dimples. So.
Yeah, but both of them have something Cam Newton doesn't have, which is the ability to play quarterback in the NFL. Plus, neither one of them have been caught wearing a scarf, I don't think. But
we weren't talking fashion sense here. Yeah, clearly, he's got none.
all right. Well, you're a Browns fan. I'm a Bengals fan. Anthony's a Cowboys fan, so clearly none of us have any sense either.
You go with what you like.
Jerry Jones, Mike Brown, and who's the moron that owns your team?
My team's owner, Jimmy Haslam.
Okay, there you go. The Three Stooges. All right, Anthony, we got anything else we want to talk about before we wrap it up?
No, I think we got about it all covered.
Yeah, and I've heard about enough from Shelley. How about you, Shelley? You got anything you want to talk about before you wrap it up?
Yeah, I think I'm good. Although, I'm still very interested in this whole Colin Kaepernick workout thing on Saturday with Hugh
Anthony
Jackson.
doesn't like it when I talk about Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, okay. Well,
But
no,
you can talk
we
about
don't
it
have
if you
to
want.
talk about him. I don't really know much except I find it interesting. I want to figure out a little bit more about what's going on with that. But, No.
Well,
In
what do
fact,
you want to know? Because me and Anthony, between us, know pretty much everything.
Awesome. Where'd this come from? Like, all right, we're hating Kaepernick. The whole world, except for a few of us, hate Kaepernick. Oh my God! Now let's work him out. Let's get Hugh Jackson on this. It just seems weird.
Anthony, what's your opinion?
I think he deserves the workout. Now, will anything come out of it? Who knows? Because they're blackballing him in the league.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Is he one of the best? Listen, is he one of the best 45 to 50 eligible players who can start a game in the NFL?
yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
He is certainly. You could make a case. I don't know. Him being off the field for a couple of years, you can make the case he's in the top 32 and should be starting in the league.
There's no doubt he's in the top 32.
Yeah.
I can name you
I
starters
actually
he's
wish
not
the
as
guy
good as.
well. It just seems weird, I guess. Just like,
Well,
out of
maybe
left
it's the
field, he likes to do
NFL.
this.
Did they ever finish up their lawsuit, Anthony?
I think so. I think that's all
Yeah.
over.
So I don't think that's got anything to do with it. I think maybe the lawsuit's over, and maybe there's like a few NFL teams that realize that all their quarterbacks are really, really bad, and maybe they should look at this again.
Browns are sending a rep down to watch it, so.
Well, they could use a quarterback.
Not, I won't speak out against Baker, but looking is free.
Well, as of right now, there are issues there. The Bengals are sending somebody down, and I will tell you this: don't be surprised if the Bengals sign him. Because when Michael Vick got out of jail for the dog thing, the Bengals were one of two finalists to sign him, and Mike Brown calls himself the Great Redeemer.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, I actually hope somebody signs him. I don't hate the guy.
I think it would be great if
whole
they signed him, and then he played really awesome, so all the racists would not know what to do.
That would cause a problem, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I wish him well. I don't hate him at all. This just all seems so unusual and sudden, but yeah.
Well, see, I always hated him because he was the quarterback for the 49ers, and they beat my team in a Super Bowl twice, and I still haven't gotten over it.
Well,
So. I project Joe
That's
Montana
that
on
makes
all
sense.
49ers quarterbacks.
I actually hated Steve Young more, but yeah, I get where you're going with
Well,
that.
Steve Young never beat my team in a Super Bowl in the last seconds. You wouldn't know what that's like.
Yeah.
Your team's never been there. Anthony, you want to tell everybody where they can find you? Did Anthony leave? There we go, Anthony.
No, I'm here. You can follow me on Twitter at The Real NFL Guru, and you can follow my show at the FF Face Off, and you can find us on all the top social media and podcast platforms.
Yeah, and you can find him on The Grueling Truth when I'm home and he sends the thing out. Send it to Jeremiah, too, from now on. That way we'll make sure it gets out. Shelley, you're a writer
Yes.
for The Grueling Truth. You want to tell people how they can find you on Twitter and tweet you incessantly about your Myles Garrett article?
That is fine. Yeah, I am on Twitter. It's Shelley0514, and on Instagram, I think my Instagram's the same thing.
You're the only
you
person
can
I
hate on
know
me
that
there.
on their Twitter handle puts the last 4 digits of a social security number.
That's my birthday. But if
But-
someone wants to try and use it as my social security number, God bless them. Go for it.
All right,
Nobody
guys.
wants my identity.
We're going to wrap it up because from all the messages I'm getting, everybody's done with Shelley. So, all right, we're going to wrap it up.
All right.
I mean it this time. You can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, over 300 different outlets worldwide. Just go to Google and type in The Grueling Truth, and you'll find us. So for Shelley Harcar, Anthony Cervino, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.